Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something really exciting, building your very own AI assistant, completely offline. No fluff, no hype, just a straight-up, actionable guide to taking artificial intelligence out of the cloud and putting it right onto your own hardware. If you're the kind of person who loves to build and tinker, we're going to use our source material today to figure out exactly how the models of the future actually work under the hood.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, the cloud AI dilemma. Second, the local AI revolution. Third, setting up your lab. Fourth, choosing your local model. And finally, the art of prompting.
Our guide for this explainer is Ethan Lang's 2025 book, Build Your Own AI Assistant with Open Source Tools. Lang frames this absolutely perfectly for the builders and the tech-savvy makers out there. Look, the era of just querying an API, it's evolving. If you are ready to break free from those recurring API costs, vendor lock-in, and constantly needing an internet connection, well, this is your blueprint.
Okay, let's dive into this. $90 billion. Take a second to let that sink in. That is the staggering estimated amount that organizations worldwide spent on AI systems in 2023. And get this, it's projected to cross $300 billion by 2026. Almost all of that is being driven by cloud services. So the financial stakes of the cloud AI dilemma are absolutely massive. It's pushing developers and businesses to ask a really important question. Do we have to pay a toll every single time we want to generate a tiny bit of text?
Section 1. The Cloud AI Dilemma.
Now, don't get me wrong, cloud-based models absolutely open the floodgates to AI productivity, but they brought some severe systemic challenges right along with them. Think about it. You've got higher recurring costs, serious latency when you actually need real-time responses, and of course, massive privacy risks. I mean, if you're analyzing confidential medical records or proprietary code, you absolutely cannot just send that off to some remote server. But local AI gives us the undisputed solution here. You get totally free inference once your hardware is set up, absolute privacy because your data literally never leaves your secure network, and you have full 100% offline capability.
Section 2. The Local AI Revolution. Lang's book highlights the silent revolution that we witnessed in 2024, the massive return to local-first AI. Thanks to insanely capable, open-weight models, think Meta's Llama 3, Google's Gemma, and Mistral. Alongside some powerful new software frameworks, we just aren't passive consumers of AI anymore. We're actually taking the power back. We are democratizing access to intelligent systems and running them on our own terms, completely offline, without needing a permission slip from some massive tech conglomerate.
Section 3. Setting up your lab. So, you're probably wondering, how can you actually build this on your own hardware? Well, to get your lab running, we follow a really straightforward step-by-step pipeline. Breaking this dense IT setup into digestible chunks makes it totally manageable, I promise. First up, OS selection. Linux is the historical gold standard for AI, but honestly, Windows with WSL and macOS with Apple Silicon's Metal framework are incredibly capable today. Second, setting up virtual environments to isolate your packages. Third, GPU acceleration, basically leveraging frameworks like NVIDIA's CUDA for a massive speed boost. And fourth, utilizing Docker to keep your environments clean, containerized, and easily reproducible across different machines.
Now, the crucial point is actually right here on step 2. You absolutely cannot just install everything globally on your machine. If you do a global Python installation, you are almost guaranteed to run into dependency conflicts, or what developers dreadfully call DLL. And yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. It becomes this chaotic tangle because different AI projects demand completely different versions of the exact same libraries. Instead, you have to use virtual environments. Tools like Conda or venv act like these clean, isolated containers that keep your projects totally separate, ensure your work is reproducible, and lock in specific library versions. Honestly, it's an absolute necessity for keeping your sanity intact during AI development.
Section 4. Choosing your local model.
All right, once your lab is prepped, we've faced the most critical hardware constraint. How on earth do you fit a massive neural network onto a regular consumer laptop? To make these fit, the book outlines this brilliant optimization technique, quantization. Basically, this is the process of reducing the numerical precision of a model's weights. So instead of storing a parameter as this massive 32-bit floating point number, we compress it down to an 8-bit or even a 4-bit integer. Think of quantization like compressing a giant raw video file into a tiny MP4 so it actually fits on your smartphone. You might lose a tiny, barely noticeable bit of detail, but the core intelligence, it's completely preserved, and it drastically decreases the memory footprint.
To put that into perspective, the memory savings here are just wild. A 7 billion parameter model, like Llama 3,
running in its full 32-bit format, requires about 28 gigabytes of video RAM. That is way beyond what most standard laptops can handle. But if you apply 4-bit quantization to a similar 7 billion parameter model like Mistral, that requirement completely plummets to just 4 to 8 gigabytes of VRAM. It is honestly like a magic trick that allows these powerful, cutting-edge models to run super smoothly on average consumer GPUs.
Now, to actually run these quantized models, we rely on a stack of open-source software heroes that bring this all together. Frameworks like llama.cpp and its Python wrapper, C transformers, act as the high-performance inference engine under the hood. They're what allow your standard CPU or GPU to process those compressed formats. Then you've got Ollama, which provides an incredibly user-friendly way to just download and run models with a few simple commands. And finally, LangChain, the orchestration framework that actually lets you connect your local LLM to your own private documents and tools.
Section 5. The Art of Prompting.
Okay, so now that our engine is running, how do we properly drive the thing? Communicating with a large language model is a totally new paradigm. It's not traditional coding. You aren't writing strict mathematical logic here. You are crafting specific context. For instance, you use role-playing, literally telling the model to act as a senior financial analyst to instantly narrow down its output style. Then you can tweak generation parameters. You adjust the temperature, where a high number boosts creative variability, and a low number forces strict, laser-focused accuracy. And you can also set limits on things like top P and max tokens to constrain the probability pool and control exactly how long the response is going to be.
Ethan Lang sums this up perfectly in the source material with this quote: "The quality of your input determines the quality of your output." Simple, right? But in the age of generative AI, mastering how we actually talk to these machines is the ultimate leverage. If you just toss in a vague prompt, you're going to get a generic, unhelpful answer. But if you engineer your prompt with clarity, context, and the right tuning parameters, your local AI transforms into this hyper-competent assistant tailored exactly to your specific workflow.
So, what does this all mean? Well, it brings us to our final and definitely most provocative question. Are you ready to take back control of your AI? As we've seen today, the software is free, the models are open, and the hardware you need, it's probably sitting right in front of you. You literally have the blueprint to ensure your data stays private, to completely eliminate those pesky API costs, and to build an assistant that is 100% your own. It is time to stop renting intelligence and start owning it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you're feeling energized to kick off your own local AI journey. Now get out there and start building.